I'm not exactly sure that it is my doing in that. It's rather my background in mythology. I absolutely adore mythology, and it's what I grew up reading, both retellings of it and the original stuff. And what I love about mythology is that it makes real things more real and also more universal. So I can write a story about a boy losing his identity, which is what Shiver really is about, is a boy who gives away more of himself every single year as he's a teenager, which was very interesting to me at the time because I was visiting all of these high schools and watching people who were really crazy, interesting middle schoolers suddenly become anonymous to kind of survive these giant new high schools. And so that's what Shiver is really about, is giving away your identity. But if you put it in a high school, it's a very specific story that only really resonates with people who have been to a giant high school. But if you make it a boy who turns into a wolf, suddenly you have this story that I can get letters from people in Korea and India and Bulgaria saying, oh, it's so amazing, I cried when he lost himself and became a wolf, because it becomes universal. And so I think that's really the solution, is you solve for X, you bring it down to the absolute most basic mythic level, and then that makes it more universal. I think that's a really dangerous road to go down. It's really compelling and really rewarding to have instant fan response, but I'm careful not to let that direct how I write what I choose next. It might focus that I choose to write another book in the world of the Wolves of Mercy Falls, but it wouldn't necessarily tell me how to write their story. So I think it's important to know that the stories are still inherently you, and then you're choosing which stories that are living in your head, and I'm lucky that I have loads and loads of ideas, so I can pick the ones that my readers actually want to hear. I hate to say never, because never, when I say it out loud, always makes me look like an idiot years later. So I'm not going to say never, but I would say it's very difficult for me to imagine returning. And partially it's because I can't imagine myself returning to the werewolf mythology again. I only write about magic for it to be a metaphor, and right now, I don't know. I think I've used werewolves for all I can possibly get out of them. And Cole and Isabel end in a really natural kind of place at the end of their story, so it's very difficult to imagine. Well, mostly I wake up and I remind myself that every day we march closer and closer to death, and so if I don't get those stories written now, it's all over. That was a really inspiring answer. No, for me, I just have to think of the project in my head. I really want to get the stories out, and I have other stories that are waiting in line, and so I really enjoy it.